answer the
For
question.
the fourth time, I've told you I didn't yell at her, and I didn't say that it was okay to yell at her. I said what she had showed us was that she was more worried about that phone. And at that point, the most important thing that night was a dead 5-year-old. We ain't the dope police. We the murder police. We worry about dead bodies. I don't care if she had sold dope to everybody in Knoxville in that phone. That was not my concern. My concern was why a little girl was dead and why we weren't getting answers from the only witness. That was my concern that night.
Her old brother was always by her side. Robin Howington, 36-year-old brother, was always by her side. The two were inseparable, and their laughter filled the house.
The guy who did that, the white, black, or Hispanic?
He's black.
Okay. What was he wearing?
He had a black shirt on.
Okay. Did he say anything when you guys opened the door?
No.
Okay. He just opened.
My baby's just laying there. Oh my God, please come down. Please come
We're
down.
on our way, Miss Robin. Let me speak to the ambulance.
As the call taker transfers the call to medical assistance, Robin exits her home, appears to drop an object behind a bush, and then returns.
I'm Mark. The address of your emergency. Welcome, job. Okay, so yes, ma'am. Okay, I have an ambulance on the way there. Tell me exactly what's going on. I had a man that just came to the door, man, and I don't know what the hell happened. The door was unlocked. He came in here, and he saw my daughter there, and she's laying here, she's not breathing, please come. She's not breathing? No. Okay. Do you want to try to take CPR? Please just come and just kind of light everything. She is breathing. She is breathing. She is breathing? Yes. Okay, how old is she? She's 5. How old? 5. 5? Yes. Okay. I've got help on the way. They've been on the way since you very first call, okay? Is that how you're crying? No, that's my son. That's your son. Okay. Yes. Okay. You're telling me as fast as they can, I promise. Okay, you said she is breathing. Is she able to speak to you at all? Is she conscious at all? No. Destiny. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Okay, and you have no idea who it was that shot her? No, I didn't know. My poor wife. Okay. They're here now. Okay, all right, go talk to them. Okay, bye-bye.
Robin initially claimed that a random black male entered her home, shot her 5-year-old daughter, and fled in a black Chrysler 300 sedan. Knoxville police officer Andrell Cummings was the first to arrive, just minutes after the 911 call. Upon entering, he was struck by how eerily quiet the scene was. Based on his experience, it lacked the typical chaos that usually follows such a traumatic event. In court, he testified about what happened next.
And I walked in. I think I maybe just kind of cracked the door and I said, "Did you call 911?" And she was like, "Yeah," kind of waved me in. And I kind of walked in and I go, "Is anybody hurt?" And she just kind of points to behind her. And that's when I saw
Officer Cummings discovered 5-year-old Destiny with severe wounds to her chest and right hand. With his EMT training kicking in, he wasted no time, placing her in the back of his police cruiser and immediately calling for emergency medical help. He did everything he could until the ambulance arrived. Destiny was rushed to the University of Tennessee Medical Center in critical condition. After securing the scene, more officers arrived and Cummings started searching the area. In court, he later testified about a key discovery. He found something in Robin's yard, specifically in the bush where a neighbor's surveillance camera caught her placing an object during her 911 call.
So, the officer seen her placing something in the bush? Oh, man.
Did you have an occasion to go look on the side of that house that night?
We did. So a couple of us got together and decided to go search that, again, we'll say the left side of that, the house and that yard. And there on that side, under a bush, we found a firearm.
Investigators started getting suspicious. Robin's story just didn't add up. Why would she need to hide a gun if an unknown man burst through the door? Then, things took another twist. A doctor requested that police bring Robin to the hospital to discuss Destiny's condition. While waiting, Robin excused herself to the restroom, but what happened next raised even more red flags. A concerned citizen approached an officer, explaining that Robin had made a bizarre request to his wife, who was a complete stranger. That same woman later testified in court about the odd encounter.
So you exit the stall, you see this individual, what happens next?
She's trying to hand me a phone, and she's like, please take my phone and just throw it anywhere.
Did she tell you why she wanted to get rid of her phone?
I asked her why, and she said a man had come into her house and shot her daughter, and that she was needing to get rid of her phone because the cops were going to take it.
Were there any other reasons she said she might want to get rid of that phone to you?
She had mentioned something about selling drugs, and she said the cops would think she had something to do with it.
Okay.
So, this lady went up to a random person and asked her to get rid of her cell phone, and it was about something of selling drugs, and she thought that this lady was going to keep it a secret?
Do you recall this individual's demeanor when you're interacting with her?
She was just nervous, acting and fidgety.
Okay. Did you take that phone from her that evening?
No, I didn't.
What did you do?
I just kept telling her, I'm sorry, I don't want to be a part of it. Then I went on up to wash my hands, and she kept following me up there, like begging, please, please, just help me. And
after the witness tipped off police about Robin's suspicious actions, officers seized her phone. And here's the kicker. They found it wet when retrieved. Now, keep in mind that Robin wasn't initially considered a suspect, but things quickly changed. Investigators grew increasingly alarmed by the inconsistencies in her story and her strange behavior at the hospital. Once she learned from doctors that her daughter had tragically died, police transported Robin to the Knoxville Police Department for questioning. But here's where things get messy. Her story shifted not once, not twice, but 3 times. First, she stuck to her claim that an unknown black male was responsible for the shooting. Then, under pressure, she pointed the finger at Destiny's father, Antoine Oliver, saying he had barged in and fired the gun to scare her. But later, Robin changed her story a 3rd time.
Now, why is the first person that comes to mind is an unknown black male? This white lady, the first person that comes to her mind is an unknown black male.
Claiming it was her 2-year-old son who accidentally shot Destiny during a struggle between her and Oliver. Detectives weren't buying it. They informed Robin they were aware she had an altercation with Oliver just 2 days before the shooting, where she pointed a gun at him and he actually took the gun from her and disassembled it. Her changing stories didn't hold up, and in the end, Robin was arrested and charged with felony murder, evidence tampering, and aggravated child neglect. She was later released on bond. Fast forward 3.5 years, Tennessee versus Robin Howington finally goes to trial, with new charges including making a false report and attempted evidence tampering. The trial ultimately came down to dueling narratives about what really happened to Destiny, and it would be up to the jury to decide which version of events they believed.
State has the burden of proof. For that reason, you will always hear first from the state. General Ammons, you are recognized on behalf of the state for your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. September the 14th, 2019. Destiny Oliver is 5 years old. Along with her brother Gavin, who's 2 years old, and her mother, Robin Howington. The defendant, in this case, went to a park. They would have played, they would have laughed, just like any kids, just like any family. And they would return home. What was different about this night is that was the last time Destiny Oliver would ever play in the park. That's what this case is about. That 5-year-old little girl, her life far too short, one person's deceit, lies, and deception to cover up their crime, their negligence. And the person's the defendant, Robert.
Now, I don't understand how the mother thought she was going to blame this act on her 2-year-old. Her 5-year-old daughter got shot. And I guess she claims that the 2-year-old did it. The cops found the weapon on the side of the house in the bushes. And the mom's saying that an intruder, an unknown black male, is the reason this all happened. So, check this out.
In their opening statement, the state presented doorbell camera footage showing Robin arriving home with her 2 kids at 8:42 p.m. 4 minutes later, a man briefly entered the house for 63 seconds before leaving. Police later questioned him but cleared him of any involvement in the homicide. By the time Robin stepped out to move her car and returned at 8:50 p.m., only she and her children were inside. 3 minutes later, she made the 911 call. The state presented its case as straightforward. Destiny Oliver was dead, and because of Robin's lies and deceptive behavior, the exact details remain unclear. But they believed one thing was certain: Robin's reckless actions led to her daughter's death, and her attempts to cover it up proved she had something to hide. The defense, though, took a different approach. Attorney Michael Whalen focused on 3 main arguments. First, he claimed it was Robin's 2-year-old son who accidentally shot Destiny, alleging the toddler climbed this stool, grabbed a loaded gun from this top shelf, and fired the fatal shot. Second, he argued that Robin shouldn't be held fully accountable for negligence due to her mental health issues. And third, he aggressively attacked law enforcement, pointing to the police interrogation as so unprofessional and dishonest that it called the entire case into question. Attorney Whalen insisted that the officers had targeted Robin from the start and failed to explore any other possibility beyond her being a cold-blooded murderer.
The judge told me that opening statements are not evidence. And I'll tell you one thing you can do. You can hold us to those statements. If you recall in Fort Iron, they stood up there and said, well, nobody's going to try to tell you that Ms. Howington intended to shoot her daughter. That sure sounds like what he was saying at the end. Her gun. She had the gun. All these lies, all these inconsistencies. I want you to pay attention to that stuff. Because we've talked already, and you will hear again, that she was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder for about 18 months, medically treated. And the police go through her purse at the end of the interview and ask her what every one of them's for, and that's what they were. She tells them that she's been raped and she's nervous speaking in a room with 2 male police officers. There's a female police officer right out in the hallway. They don't offer to bring a female in. The 2 of them sit there and talk to her, and when she says she's been raped, Mr. Riddle there loses his mind. He jumps up and starts yelling and screaming, "Are you kidding me? That's what you're concerned about? Your daughter's dead." Now, how do you think that helps with the PTSD? This is the interview room that we're in.
You called somebody from that house when I was there to try to take your baby boy over across the street. Okay. You were using that phone then. What happened to that phone in a 30-minute time frame from the time you got or left that house till you got to UT Hospital? That phone. Okay. That phone has been thrown somewhere wet. We do this for a living. We're not dumb. This is your chance to tell the truth.
Let's try, because I know at the hospital, you said you had to go to the bathroom, right? And you tried to give your phone to some lady, correct? And she wouldn't take it. So after she didn't take the phone, what'd you do with it?
I'm not gonna charge me with something.
What did you do with the phone?
I don't want to talk, man, because I'm afraid.
So your child is dead, and you don't want to talk.
Well, it's because.
So what? No. So what you're telling us is you don't care.
It's not that you don't care. I got raped by a police officer, so please.
Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Your daughter is dead?
I know that.
And you don't want to tell us who killed your child?
No.
Lord have mercy. Do you have a heart? Do you have a soul?
No worries about being charged for throwing that phone in the toilet.
You're right. No, she will be charged. You're going to be charged with tampering. That's tampering with evidence. I'm serious to God. You're going to go to jail for that tonight. You can lawyer up, do what you want to. We want the truth from you. If you tell us the truth, then by George, I'll call the damn DA's office and tell them, hey, let's slow a roll here. But if you will sit here and get us on this, then we're not going to help you.
All right. What I want to say, right? Regardless if you're right or wrong, if you're arrested, you never ever try to justify yourself to the police. They are there to make a case. They are not there to help you. It's their job to build a case. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You never talk to the police. But we're going to get back to this.
Detective, as a professional who deals with rape cases, do you get training on how to deal with rape cases?
I've dealt with several rapes over my career.
Do you get training on how to deal with rape victims?
Yes, sir.
Would you say that's what you did in response to her informing you she was nervous because she's in a little room with 2 male police officers, and 18 months before she was raped by a male police officer?
I think at the point where I got a little out, well, let's just say frustrated. I was extremely frustrated. Yes, sir.
Oh, but that's not what you said.
Yes, sir.
No, you told Wardlaw says you say, I'm sorry. After you work through all that after a bit, you say, I came off a little like an asshole. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And Wardlaw says, we're dealing with a 5-year-old. We take this seriously.
Yes, sir.
And you said, no, I'm angry.
I was angry.
No, we take this seriously. And you said, no, I'm angry.
I agree.
Who were you angry at?
I was angry with Miss Halligan.
The grieving mother.
I would disagree with your explanation. I'm not sure how she was grieving, but to not cooperate with an investigation baffled me.
2 minutes and 40 seconds into your interview, 10 minutes and 30 seconds into your interview, you were so angry with her that you leap from the chair and start screaming at her, come over the table, pointing your finger and saying, are you kidding me? Your daughter's dead and that's what you're concerned about?
Yes, sir, I said that.
And you tell her you don't care about tampering charges, right?
I want her to be truthful with me about what happened. At this point in time, we weren't aware that Gavin was the suspect in the crime.
You told her you don't care about tampering charges.
As well as I told her I didn't care about drugs as well.
You told her...
Yes, sir. I did tell her that.
And Then you jump from your chair and say, you're going to jail tonight.
She's lying. She's lying, sir.
Well, does that sound like a man who doesn't care about tampering charges to you?
I'm trying to get her to cooperate with this investigation.
I believe someone in this interview used the term, once a fibber, always a fibber.
I believe later on, I saw it yesterday and you shaking your head. Yes, sir.
That was you, right?
I said that. Yes, sir.
So when you tell her, I don't care about tampering charges, and then burst out into your outrage about you're going to jail tonight for tampering, would she have any reason to believe that you're anything but a fibber?
I'm not sure what she believes. I can't speak for her.
You fibbed, right? I don't care. You're going to jail for it.
After about 10 or 12 lies, yes, she's committing crimes. Correct.
And you believe that couch looks high, tall, the seat part?
Sure.
And in that video of the walkthrough, you and the ward are standing beside it. It comes up out to your knees. That sounds like a high couch to you?
Okay, I'll agree with you. It's an average couch. It's a normal couch.
So why was it necessary to talk about how high the couch was?
Sir, it's a normal couch.
Right. Talking about how high it was made the story sound less likely that Gavin could have shot her.
You know what? Again, how many versions did she give us?
I'm not asking you about how many versions she gave you. I'm asking you about the versions you gave.
I did not believe her son was capable of shooting his sister. How in the world can a 2-year-old child know where a gun is, go get a gun, drag a stool? This is all my thought process. So
I'm telling me that as a homicide investigator, you are not aware of the multiple times a year that small children get guns and shoot people with it.
It's happened, absolutely.
So
it's happened.
Why are you acting so shocked that a 2-year-old could get a gun and shoot someone? It's just not believable.
Sir, you've seen the interview. I'm not going to tell you to put you do this for a living, I do it for a living. You're a criminal defense attorney. I disagree with you. She was lying and being dishonest. I'm trying to understand and comprehend this mess.
So you thought that you would get more truth from her if you lied and were dishonest?
Sir, I don't know that I lied to her. I disagree with you. That's misrepresentation of my words.
You told her the couch was too high for him to be able to do
I did say that.
And now, you did. And now you say it didn't happen. It's a normal couch.
For conversation, I'm going to agree with you because it's going to be an argument. It's a normal couch.
Don't agree with me because you don't want to argue.
It's a normal couch, sir.
This a normal couch?
It's a normal couch. Yes, sir.
When you said it was
too
high for this
I agree with you.
Gavin, you were lying.
I agree. Sir, I did not have any intent to lie to this young lady. I'm not trying to put anything in her head besides get the truth.
How do you have to put things in people's head to get them to tell the truth?
Sir, we're investigating the death of her 5-year-old little girl.
I know, and you know that no matter how many times you say that, it doesn't change anything, right?
Absolutely. It doesn't change things in your mind.
Right. No, it doesn't. We're talking about what was said, why, and how.
Sure.
And we're talking about who was the fibber in this interview. And I'm telling you, you didn't come off too good on the fibber scale either, did you?
Sir, are you calling me a liar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I disagree with you.
Attorney Whalen kept up his aggressive approach with witnesses throughout the trial, hammering them with tough questions to expose inconsistencies. His goal was clear: to convince the jury that the police were not being truthful. If Whalen could get the jury to question the officer's honesty, it could weaken the prosecution's case, possibly leading to a lighter sentence for Robin, or even...
You can tell by these officers' demeanor that both of them will lie to get somebody to say something. They're very agitated, being questioned, and they know that they're officers and they get questioned for a living. So you can tell that they are some shaky cops.
Even an acquittal.
Do you recall making that statement?
Correct.
And the statement that you made was, I'm going to be straight with you. I feel like it's her dad. And I feel like you don't want to tell us that. I feel like he's pissed off about all this stuff that's going on. You won't let him see her. She's scared of him. I feel like he came in here pissed off and he did it. And you're scared to say something because it's going to be the same thing that's been going on down in the past. I feel like that's what happened. You don't want to say it because you're scared. That's what you said, right?
Correct.
Read that next statement that Mr. Riddle made in your presence.
I think you are too. I think he's hit the nail on the head. I don't think he intended to kill the little girl. I think he was going to shoot and scare.
So, that's you laying out that Antoine did it. Mr. Riddle here saying, oh, you hit it right on the nail. I think that's what happened too. And that's when the attitude changed from yelling and screaming, and it's shortly after that that you decided what all you need, honey, is this, and you give her a hug. Right?
No, sir. Again, from the onset, when I dealt with her, my concern was you need someone here with you. At the beginning of the interview, when I come in the room, I told her I've checked on Gavin. I've tried to call somebody to be here with you. She says the only person I know is my mom. So from the onset, even though you're trying to play like it's not, I was concerned with her having someone there with her.
I understand all of that. That's not what I'm asking you, officer. Here's the thing. You're saying you are only concerned about Miss Howington's well-being and that she has somebody there to support her. And then you watch Riddle lose his mind and yell and scream at her. Did you ever stop and say, oh, whoa, hang on there, Riddle. Let's talk a minute. Did you ever say that?
No.
You didn't care. And then
I'm sorry, sir, I don't think you can tell me what I thought at that moment.
How many times did you say to her, you don't care?
You can't tell me what I thought at that moment, sir.
I can tell you what you said. How about that?
What did I say at that moment, sir?
You don't care. I don't think you care.
You said that I didn't care about what Investigator Riddle was doing, and you can't tell me how I felt about Investigator Riddle.
I'm saying you didn't have any problem with telling her that she didn't care about her 5-year-old being dead, but you didn't bother to tell him, hey, Riddle, back up a minute.
Her actions were showing that she was only worried about herself and that phone.
Okay, so we have clarified that you believe that was perfectly good conduct on Riddle's part.
Did I say that, sir? Did I say that, sir?
You just said it was her actions that brought all that on.
No, sir, I did not say that. Those are your words you just said. I just said,
Tell me.
what I said is that she was more worried about herself and that phone. She wasn't worried about her 5-year-old. I never said anything about what Investigator Riddle did or how I felt about it.
You just told the grieving mother that she was more concerned about her phone than her dead 5-year-old.
What does the evidence show, sir?
I'm asking you
what does the evidence show? She was more worried about that phone. She tried to give a phone to a random stranger in the restroom, then break it, and then put water on it. You're more concerned about that phone and the contents of that phone than you are about making sure we find out who killed your daughter. I don't know how else you can look at that.
Well, can you understand how she might not think you give a damn about her daughter when you yell and scream at her in the interview?
I never yelled and screamed at her, sir.
But you think it's okay because you think that her conduct deserved that.
Sir, for the fourth time,
Let him answer the
for
question.
the fourth time, I've told you I didn't yell at her, and I didn't say that it was okay to yell at her. I said what she had showed us was that she was more worried about that phone. And at that point, the most important thing that night was a dead 5-year-old. We ain't the dope police. We the murder police. We worry about dead bodies. I don't care if she had sold dope to everybody in Knoxville in that phone. That was not my concern. My concern was why a little girl was dead and why we weren't getting answers from the only witness. That was my concern that night.
One of the key witnesses was a crime lab technician, and he dropped a bombshell that grabbed the jury's attention. Gunshot residue was found not only on Robin Howington's clothing, but also on her 2-year-old son's. As the tension in the courtroom escalated, more witnesses
Hold up. They said they found gunshot residue on her and the 2-year-old. Now that there can be questionable about to what she's saying, that the 2-year-old is the one. And it crazy how it could have happened like that. We don't know. Because kids do get guns and do things. Pull the trigger. But I'm just thinking at 2, it would be hard to pull the trigger. But how does the 2-year-old have gunshot residue on him? We're going to check it out, though.
Testified before the state rested its case. Then, in a bold move, the defense put Robin Howington on the stand.
Mr. Whalen, you are recognized on behalf of the defense.
Thank you. We would call Robin Howington, Your Honor.
Ms. Howington, come around, please. And if you would come up to the witness stand before you take the witness stand, raise your right hand and be sworn. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have a seat. Adjust the microphone so that you can speak directly into it.
Sorry, you're going to want your water.
Please, thank you.
Tilt that down. There you go, so that you can speak direct, and you can tilt the end up as well if you need to.
Tell the jury your name.
Robin Howington.
And you are the Robin Howington we've been talking about since Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
And how old a woman are you?
41.
Okay. And where were you born?
Bristol, Tennessee.
How long did you live in Bristol?
Till I was 14.
Scoot that up just a little bit more.
Pull it right up there to you.
Pull it up closer to you. There you go.
Okay, let's try that. So you lived in Bristol till you were 14.
Yes, sir.
And where did you move then?
Knoxville.
And have you lived in Knoxville since?
Yes, sir.
And do you have family here?
My son, Gavin.
Okay. Now, your mother lived in Bristol, right?
Yes.
And for a time she lived with you here.
Yes.
And she passed during this pendency of this case.
Yes.
Okay. Where, back in September of 2019, where were you living?
502 Balsam Drive.
Okay. And how long had you been there?
For about 4 years.
And who did you live with?
Destiny, Gavin, and myself.
Okay. And just to be clear, did Antoine Oliver ever live at that address?
No, sir.
Did he ever spend the night at that address?
No, sir.
Was he ever there when you alone that you know of?
No, sir.
Okay. And so when you got home from the park, what did you do?
I brought the kids in because they were asleep.
Did you bring them in together or separately?
Separately.
Okay. And you parked your car and brought the kids in, right?
Yes.
And then later you went back out to move the car.
Yes.
Your Honor, we're just not in the witness.
When you came home, do you remember where you parked?
Yes, right in front of the sidewalk.
Is that where you normally park?
No,
Why not?
because the mailbox is there, so the mailman can't get to the mailbox.
And that doesn't make the mailman happy, does it?
No.
So, was there a time at which you went back outside to the car?
Yes,
What were you doing?
I was smoking because I do not smoke in my house around my kids.
And what else did you do?
I moved my car.
Okay. And you've seen that video from the neighbor's porch, right?
Yes, sir.
If you hadn't seen that video, would you have known any of those times?
No, sir.
And after you get the kids inside, there's a fellow that comes to your door and he's there for 63 seconds or so, right?
Yes.
Do you know who that was?
Yes.
And who was it? Don't tell me. Don't say the last name because it's being broadcast. But if we need to, we can get that from.
His name was Jay.
Excuse me.
Jay.
Jay. And why was he there?
He was getting payment from where he tinted my windows on my car.
When did he tint the windows?
The day before.
And why didn't you pay him on Friday?
Because there was bubbles in the tint, and I wanted to know if they were going to go away or not.
And did he come and fix that, or did he just?
No, I didn't pay him as much as he originally asked me to.
So after you got through dealing with Jay, what happened? What did you do?
I made sure the kids was okay, and I went outside to smoke and move my car.
When you came back from moving the car, what did you do?
I was walking up to my house, and it's a glass door, and I seen a flash of light go off. And when I walked in, Gavin was screaming and crying, and the gun was on the ground.
There's some tissues up there in that box.
Everyone may have a seat. Waive the call for the state. For the defense. General Good, you are recognized for cross-examination.
Okay, Ms. Allington, so we're gonna get into the story that you've told for the first time today here in just a minute, but before we get into that, I want to back up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to take you back to the very first story that you told to the 911 caller. When you called 911, talk about that.
Yes, ma'am.
You initially said that it was an unknown black male. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You said that that black male had essentially broken into your home, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that that black male who you'd never seen a day before in your life shot your daughter in cold blood right in front of you. Is that correct?
Yes.
You said that Gavin was in the room. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that when this unknown black male who drove a black, what you believe to be Chrysler 300, you recall telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You said that he looked at you and his eyes got really big and that he just ran out. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that was your initial story to 911 when you first called, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the 911 call. You just testified that you are walking up into your house and you see the gun go off when Gavin shoots Destiny. Is that what you just testified to?
Yes.
And you've seen the video, the surveillance video from your neighbor's house.
Yes.
Have you not? You've seen that you enter your home at 8:50.
Correct.
Correct? And now you know that the 911 call was not placed until over 3 minutes later at 8:53:53. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you go back in your home after seeing your daughter get shot by your 2-year-old son, according to you today, and you wait almost 4 minutes to call 911. Is that your testimony?
I had to find my phone. It had fell in between the cushions in the other living room.
Okay. So you see Gavin get shot, you call 911 4 minutes later. But again, you don't tell any of this to the police initially, do you?
No, ma'am.
You blame it on some stranger that you've never seen before in your life that came in and shot your 5-year-old in cold blood. That was your story initially.
An unidentified person, yes. To protect my
Unidentified
son.
black male is what you said, is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
In a black Chrysler 300, you were pretty specific about that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You said that he wasn't wearing a hat.
Yes, ma'am.
that he was a little bit darker complexion than Officer Wardlaw. You actually you described it even to that extent, correct?
Clarify. Now we're on to the interview with Officer Wardlaw. They were talking about the 911 call. If we could break that up so she knows what she's being asked.
All right, we'll rephrase the question. At some point in time, did you later describe him as being darker than Officer Wardlaw?
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
ask your next question.
All right, so that's 911. So police get on scene.
That's not 911. She says
Okay,
911.
I apologize.
Rephrase your question.
Going back to immediately after the 911 call was placed. Police arrive on scene about 3 minutes after the call is initially placed. Is that correct?
I assume.
You've seen the videos.
Yes.
Okay. And you said just now that you didn't even realize that Officer Cummings had taken Destiny outside until the trial today. Is that correct? That's what you just testified to?
Yes.
But that's not true today. He testified on Tuesday.
Okay.
We need to...
Until the trial, her testimony was she didn't realize that Officer Cummings had taken Destiny out. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes.
All right, ask your next question.
And so at 8:56:42, so within about 30 seconds of Officer Cummings arriving, you were on your phone trying to call Callie.
Yes.
Is that why you didn't pay attention to the fact that he was taking your daughter outside?
No.
But again, your daughter's outside at some point and you don't even know she's out there. You don't even know that the police officer has taken your daughter that's been shot outside.
I had went out there and asked if she was okay and if Gavin was okay. That was also on the video that you just spoke of.
Okay, but again, Ms. Allington, you just testified that you didn't realize that Destiny had been taken outside because you were tending to Gavin. Was that not your testimony just now?
Yes.
Okay, so you knew where Gavin was.
Yes.
According to your own statement just now. But you didn't know that the officer had taken Destiny outside to wait for the ambulance. Until the trial, you didn't know that.
No.
But you were on your phone trying to call Callie.
If that's what it says, then yes. I went out there and they told me to step back, that they were doing everything that they possibly could.
Okay. So let's talk about when you meet Officer Riddle for the first time at your house before you are taken to UT Hospital, okay? You once again make a claim that it is an unknown individual, an unknown male, broke into your house and shot your daughter in cold blood, didn't you?
Yes, to protect my son, I sure did.
Okay. You didn't say anything about the gun being outside at that point, did you?
No.
Again, you're sticking with the story that it's this unknown man. So to the police officers, they think that there is a murderer on the loose based on your statement, correct?
Yes.
And that statement that you made was made prior to you ever talking to a law enforcement officer that night.
Yes.
So you are the one that put this idea that this was a murder in the investigator's head, correct?
That's what you want to say, yes.
Well, ma'am, it's not my words, okay? Are you the one that told police officers that someone had came in and murdered your child?
Yes.
And so that is the reason that these officers treated this as a murder investigation, is it not?
Yes, but I was trying to protect my son at any cost.
Okay. Do you initially remember telling officers that you had no idea that there was even a gun outside of your house? Do you recall that?
I will continue to say the same thing, ma'am. I was trying to protect my son, and you just can't accept that this was an accident. You just can't accept it.
Ma'am, listen, my question was, you initially told the officers that you had no idea about a gun outside of your house, didn't you?
Ma'am, I was not in my right mind. I had just seen my baby shoot my daughter. Do you not understand?
I hear what you're saying, but my question to you was, did you initially tell the officers that you had no idea about any sort of gun outside of your home?
If it's on the video, then that's what I said, ma'am.
All right, can we get the screen, please?
Yes, it was.
So again, right here, you tell the officers that you don't have a gun, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You tell the officers that it would surprise you if a gun was found outside your home, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But seeing as how you were the one that put the gun out there, that's not true, is it?
I was trying to protect my son. I was not in my right mind.
And at that time, you had also asked multiple people to go and pick up that gun, had you not?
Because I did not want it to come back to Gavin. Do you not understand what I'm saying, ma'am?
Miss Howington, my question is, at that point in time, you had asked multiple people to come and pick up that gun that you put outside your home, had you not?
To protect Gavin.
Maybe it's a yes or a no. Had you asked multiple people to get that gun from outside your house, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now she may explain her answer, Judge, when she's answered yes.
I think she has, but if you want to, again, explain your reasoning for doing so.
I was trying to protect my son, and nobody wants to accept that. What would you do?
Can I?
After 5 days of testimony, the jury entered their chambers to decide Robin Howington's fate. The prosecution pushed hard, asking for convictions on all charges, including felony murder, arguing that Robin was fully responsible for the outcome the night of. On the other hand, the defense argued for diminished responsibility, claiming the shooting was a tragic accident and Robin's actions afterward were driven by extreme distress. The jurors now held the power to decide her future. If found guilty of felony murder, Robin would not see the light of day again. It took the jury less than 2 hours to return a verdict.
Everyone may have a seat. Waive the call for the state or the defense. If you could pass the verdict form up here, please, Mr. Morgan. Mr. Martz, I understand you are the foreperson of this jury. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Understand. And the jury has reached a unanimous verdict as to each of the counts contained within this indictment. Is that correct? Yes, sir. If you would stand, please, sir. Ms. Howington, if you would stand and face the jury. Mr. Martz, as to the first count of this indictment charging first-degree felony murder, has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
And that verdict is what, please?
The jury find the defendant, Robin Rebecca Howington, guilty of reckless homicide.
As to the second count, alleging aggravated child neglect, has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yes, sir.
And that verdict is what, please?
We, the jury, find the defendant, Robin Rebecca Howington, guilty of aggravated child neglect.
Okay, now, they found the mother guilty of killing her child. She tried to put this on an unknown black man that came into her house, excuse me, and said the unknown black man shot the child. Then she tried to change the story and say her 2-year-old shot the child and she was trying to protect the 2-year-old. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all think that she did it? Or do y'all think that she was not guilty? And you can go back and check out the live and you can see the proceeding of her being cross-examined by the prosecution and her lawyer talking to her also. It's your boy DZ, man. Life, it could be good one minute, it could be bad the next minute. We don't know what happened in this situation, but it's sad. The 5-year-old lost their life. The mother convicted, going to jail, and the 2-year-old is not going to be with around the parent. Leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think, man. It's your boy DZ, man. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this video. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back. Now.